Welcome to the OTA podcast where we discuss everything performance training. I'm Coach Chris Barnard. Let's get into it. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the OTA podcast. I'm your host, Chris Barnard. And for today's video, I usually pull from some of the coaches in our coaching program. When they ask questions that I think that are pretty good, I usually kind of draw from that and try to provide a little bit of insight for you guys. So for today's video, what I wanted to kind of just globally be able to discuss is just the truth about getting results for your athletes. Because this is something that I thought that, starting off early in my coaching career, I thought that this was something that was a little bit more from a common sense standpoint. And after 10, 12, 15 years of working with athletes, I come to realize I have a much different stance when it comes to actually getting results, right? And delivering those results that actually transfer over to the field or court into that athlete's sport. And I just want to speak of it from a global perspective. Obviously, there's many variables, there's many factors, and we oftentimes try to quantify and develop all this research around the programming, the right amount of reps and sets, the amount of stress. We try to define these things, and I think that from a day-to-day basis, if you're an actual coach in the trenches, you can really quickly get wrapped up into all of those, the latest, greatest research and the numbers. And one thing that a tagline that we've always said is we try to be evidence-led, not evidence-based, because like the saying goes, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the mouth. And if you've worked in the private sector especially, right? If you're from an organization or a college weight room coach, great, you could control those variables a little bit more. You demand them to show up to practice every single day. But if you're in the private sector, you understand that you're dealing with multiple external variables on a day-to-day basis. And it's like, how are you being able to navigate those, auto-regulate on a day-to-day basis, and be able to overall drive the maximal optimal results at the end of each off season? I think that actually, contrary to what a lot of coaches that I speak to tend to kind of get caught up in, is it's not about the programming. In fact, one of my favorite sayings that my former business partner, Elliot, used to mention was like, you could take the best program and follow it with half-ass effort and you're gonna get half-ass results. Or you could take one of the worst programs there is, but follow it with 100% intent and focus, and that athlete is gonna get way better results than the former. And so the point being is we spend all this time getting caught up in trying to get very intricate with all these little things just for your athlete to go home and play, Fortnite till 3 a.m., not recover, not eat the right things, show up the next day, they're dehydrated, and then you're so focused on this number and this tempo in your rep and set that you're so close to the trees that you can't see the forest. You're missing the bigger picture. It's not about the programming. The results that you get with your athletes, it's having a balance of being able to zoom out from a bird's eye view and be able to see where that athlete is at from a bigger picture level, be able to factor in all the things, how much time you have, what else do they have going on in their life, but then also be able to zoom in on a day-to-day basis and be able to consistently drive the right amount of stimulus and the maximum amount of stress for that particular session, and do it consistently. So day after day, how can I bring myself up to be able to maximize that the effort and the intent and the focus that that athlete has for that particular session, that is just absolutely optimize and maximize, right? How do you as a coach be able to get in those trenches on a day-to-day, session-by-session basis and be able to extract a little bit more 1%? Because the results are in the details of your coaching. It's on the day-to-day. It's how you're administering and cueing the warm-up, right? It's your ability not to get complacent minute over minute for that next 60 to 90 minutes that you're working with the athletes, not taking anything for granted. I get so many interns that come in here right? That gets so wrapped up in the program and prescribing the right exercise and the right reps and the right sets. And it doesn't have to be like that. That pales in comparison to your ability to be actually zoom in and focus on something so simplistic, but make it the most out of that actual drill for that athlete. What's up, coaches? Real quickly, let me go ahead and introduce you to Performance Coach U certification. Now, this is the certification / course that I put together for coaches who want to train athletes and not only get results, but also maximize profits in the private sector. The problem that I saw with a lot of these courses and certifications out there for coaches was that they provided a lot of information and not a lot of application. So I wanted to pull back the covers over 10+ years of experience and show you the ins and outs of actually being in the trenches so that you get maximum results while also scaling your business. So if you're interested in this, go ahead and check out the link down below and you can get more information. And so a lot of coaches get caught up in designing this amazing program and they end up just prescribing it to their athletes and then allowing them to just do the work. It's like that's not where the results lie. The results lie in the simplicity of the program, but getting the athlete to perform it at the most highest optimal level, right? It's not just about a butt kick run. It's like, how do we make sure that we're performing that at the highest level, creating maximum amount of stress with high effort, high intent? That's where it lies, because we get complacent when we know that the athlete can perform it. But it's your duty, it's your job to be able to deliver the best service. Take something so simplistic and be able to turn it into an extremely, I don't want to say complicated, but be able to perform the simplistic things, the foundational things at the highest level and get them to perform it at the highest level, even if they're just going through the motions. So again, I'm kind of going on a rant here. I'm going in different circles, but the biggest point that I want to get across, and I think that I commonly try to find myself having these conversations with newer coaches, is a lot of the programming is irrelevant. And if you can stack day after day, consistent, high effort, high intent, high focus sessions, it doesn't matter about the program. It does. Don't get me wrong. Everything has to be a progression. Everything has to have context, and everything is holistic. And what I mean by that is your speed, your power, your strength, all of it goes hand in hand. You're not just looking at these things in a vacuum. So programming does matter. But the biggest thing is like, are you engaged every single minute of every single session? The more that you can do that, the better results that you're going to get at the end of the offseason with your athletes. And trust me, it took me 6, 7, 8 years to be able to understand that. Because when me, fresh out of college, having all this knowledge, thought it was all about the knowledge that I had up here. And it had nothing to do with that. It's how I'm relating to these athletes. It's how I'm getting the most out of them every single day. And that's what I was able to stack up to be able to then have amazing offseason, amazing results with our athletes that had them coming back year over year. So I hope that helps. I know it's a little bit of a rant. I'm a little bit off all over the place, but that's how I get when I'm passionate about something. So I hope that helps some of you coaches out. Quit focusing so much on the program. Focus on the day-to-day, the minute over minute. I'll talk to you guys next time.